No, eso sí, no. Mucho de eso. Acuérdate bien, ¿no?
There's a job description for every position. Okay, yeah,
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday, November 1st, 2019, 1 p.m. If we could please rise and raise the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, everyone. Any public testimony, anybody wanting to come before the court at this time? And, of course, any matter or any person we have here before the court this time regarding any general matter that is on the agenda, comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by permission of the Commissioner's Court. Agenda items, any person wishing to speak before or during consideration of a specific agenda item shall add their name, address, phone number to the public sign-in sheet along with the agenda number they wish to speak. Public speaker shall wait to be recognized by the presiding officer before approaching the speaker's podium to make comments. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by permission of the Commissioner's Court. Okay, agenda item number 4, consider and take action on the possible. Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. One, I apologize. Go ahead.
This is just a quick update. Thanks so much, Commissioner, for having me. I wanted to let you know that Lucas, our blackboard system, our emergency alert system, has officially expired as of last night. So the county does not have an emergency alert system. However, the judge and I are still working with the city of Allen to try to get our new system, HyperReach, up and running. We have that all ready to go, and once we get papers and all that sort of thing ready, we'll get HyperReach on and get training on board and get the citizens on. But I just wanted to let all the commissioners know that Lucas is over with at this point.
Another comment, the city is lagging on that, and we get to hear from them. It's usually a match, or we're in some cooperation.
Like 7,500 each, huh?
It's gonna be a different amount, but it's not.
Yeah, HyperReach is going to be almost exactly half of what blackboard is going to cost.
Right.
So it's significantly less. So we're just waiting on the mayor and Patrick, the EMC with the city.
HyperReach.
Yes.
HyperReach alert system.
We got a significant cost savings on that.
Yeah.
But hopefully the city will come through, if not,
Yeah.
we'll see what their financial status is.
Okay.
Mrs. Bowen, you have any ideas?
No, it's
Please-
the first I've heard
Please
about it.
nudge him over there, if you would.
So, in addition to that, I just want to give a quick update on the burn bans that was released yesterday. I spoke with the Texas A&M Forest Service. Our KVDI is at 624 as of yesterday. Again, the Texas Forest Service recognizes drought conditions at 500 or more. Again, we're at 624, so they still recognize that Jones County is in drought status and burn ban is still necessary at this point. And according to the U.S. Drought Monitor, 85% of the county is still under moderate drought conditions, so burn ban is still highly recommended at this point. I also wanted to let the commissioners know that I've been in contact with the COG here recently, and with their Homeland Security Advisory Committee, they are awarding, I believe, the county and as well as the city of Alice, a video conferencing system, an 87-inch interactive system that will be put into the Emergency Operations Center. In addition, with a Logitech group video conference system as well for just to basically stay in contact during emergency situations. I believe every single county in the COG should be receiving one, as well as different cities as well. So I've been in contact with them. Judge, I'll get with you. I've also been in contact with Robert on if we're going to place that in the jail with the current EOC, or if we should place it somewhere else. So I've been in contact with them, and also been in contact with GrantWorks with they have a scope of work modification request for our generators, our portable generators for the towers. Apparently TM has come back with a couple of questions. I'm trying to get those answered, but I do want to let them know that I'm still in contact with those generators, and hopefully we'll get that resolved pretty soon.
Mr. Cunha, did you just receive something a little while ago having to do with the generator for the courthouse?
The only, correspondence that I received from them was that we were not selected.
Yeah.
And that we would only receive word about, a possible moving forward with it if another county or
So
someone
we're not,
else.
we're not on that.
Yeah, we're not on that list.
And that was for the generator for the
For
courthouse.
the courthouse, yes.
You submitted that application about 3 months ago.
I think, going back to the burn ban, I think we're gonna have I guess we could put it on the next agenda, because I'm looking at the order that we adopted August 5th. It says it remains in effect for a period of 90 days. So that will expire right around November 5th. And I think our next meeting is November 12th. So I guess if you can get us a recommendation whether we need to re-adopt it, but we're gonna have a window of about 7 days where we're gonna be uncovered.
So we need to extend it?
It would be my recommendation.
And if we need to hold a special meeting, Mr. Guerra, we
That's-
need to extend it.
Yeah, that's gonna be your call, I guess.
It could be a line item on our next meeting.
Okay,
But see, it's gonna expire before the next meeting.
it'll be expiring, so we'll have a
So,
gap.
They're gonna be uncovered for about 7 days.
And because he's speaking as public right now, he can't make the recommendation.
Well, it's not on the agenda,
Right, so we would have to come back to another special.
or just,
Would that be qualified as an emergency meeting?
no.
We'll see where we're at in these next few days, and if we have to call a special meeting so we won't have that gap, we'll definitely do that.
Okay.
If there's not an objection to that.
That's it from the office of the
Thank you
superintendent.
very much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wanting to speak before I proceed? How are you doing? Number 4, consider take action on possible modification and or consolidation of job duties for positions of JWC Safety Officer, JWC Safety Department Secretary, and Emergency 911 addressing coordinating positions in combination with each other or with another existing JWC County employee position. Okay. Well, we've had considerable discussion on this, and not probably enough, but it's a work in progress as we go along. Ms. Sylvia, you're here, all right, good, just in case we need. Would you like to come up, Sylvia, and lay out where we're at as far as what we've discussed in the last, the recommendations and what you and I have discussed and the rest of individuals that were
Good
involved?
afternoon. I've just had so much input from everybody. Well, not everybody, but a lot of different people have come into our office. Right now, we have a temporary E911 addressing. My recommendation
Sure,
is,
that's what we want to hear.
she does have experience, and I don't know if I stepped over anybody's boundaries, but I actually verified. I called myself. I called Duval County and asked, does she have this much experience, or is it E911 addressing? Because some people have a misconception of what E911 is. And it's actually E911 addressing. So you actually issue out addresses. You issue out, street names. You issue out private roads. You name roads when there's a new subdivision. And what their response to me was, is she's done both. So she has experience. The thing is, I've explained this a lot. I feel like I'm explaining it over and over.
And you know what, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, I think
No,
I
that's
know
okay.
more or less that
Yeah.
I vetted her and we mentioned her and we suggested, and she had a little experience and she's got that and so far so good, and she's been.
And I like to explain because a lot of people don't understand. So,
I wish we had more people in here so they could listen.
and the different
understand
counties, their process vary. They're different from county to county or entity to entity. And here in JWC County in the past, when Mr. Sanchez was there, Sam did it manual. Went out there with a wheel, measured, put specific points and stuff like that. So he did it manual. When we got Mark Sanchez, he did both. He went out and actually measured, but yet he was very computer savvy, so he did part computer, part manual. Now, when we got Sonia was majority computer technology. And I think the COG purchased the program for her to where she didn't actually have to go out into the field and do manual measurements and different stuff like that. She mostly did computer. She used 3 computers or 3 screens at a time. When there was complications, then she would actually have to go out into the field. So our temporary person has done it the old-fashioned, I think, manual way. So till the clock comes and teaches her how to use that program that the county purchased, or Sonia, or whoever purchased it, then she'll get the hang of it. But she doesn't have the experience to do it. So my recommendation for that department for E911 addressing would be hire a part-timer with some emergency management work, which would be, and I recommend, and I spoke to Juan earlier about it, would be like to update the emergency management outline. And an outline is, I don't think any of y'all have ever used it, maybe Ventura. An outline is, when we set up the EOC, each elected official and our judge, our auditor, and I think it's the sheriff, they have their own outline, and that outline is set up by emergency management coordinator. But those updates have to be done constantly.
Those are updates, and those are areas that
Resources.
we have not addressed in a while and haven't been addressed. And that's why we've been shooting from the hip and just getting by. And if we do this consolidation, we have another individual at TxDOT that works out of Commissioner Huicho Gonzalez's office that we think would be a great idea to, we're the location out there at the TxDOT to be able to handle the 911, which she has also experience. And Ms. Garcia can also address the emergency management and assist with the 911. The emergency management as far as the areas that haven't been addressed, is that what you're talking about?
I would just say the emergency management outline and the steer.
Right. Those
Because
areas haven't been addressed and haven't
in a
been
while,
brought
and
up
they
to
need
date.
to be updated.
And Mr. Acuña, who has his hands full
Right,
to this point,
right,
handling and addressing all those areas that are the priorities, and then of course,
exactly. So that would be my recommendation, to actually keep that person part-time at those responsibilities to that person.
and we have a
besides doing
considerable
the
cost savings
911.
also as well.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
There was 3 options, right, that we didn't do 3 options after all.
I would like to keep the part-time, the 911, and have her pick up some of, the emergency management since he's got a lot going on. And that would help her be able to work with him, and if there's anything she can do for him and for Sylvia, because she did say that it's really a part-time job as far as 911. And if we could save money and.
It's gonna be a considerable savings, when you consolidate these, duties, and you do away without, Ms. Garcia does not require these benefits that the other person required full-time, and then, the other individual that we still up in the air, that may consolidate that will not require any additional, cost either. So basically, you're eliminating 2.
And you would still wanna take applications and.
Sure, no, that's gonna
And
be
then
up in
go
the, that's still up in the
yeah.
area. This is temporary emergency because we had to, but we still have to go through that process, of course, through the process of the posting and advertising and all that. But that's, yes, sir.
What are we gonna post for? What are y'all gonna convert at?
That would be a part-time E911 address.
Yeah, part-time and maximum 25 hours. Would be something that would be a good parameter there. 25 hours max at a certain rate, depending on experience and.
And the safety officer?
That's another position.
Yeah.
So we're really just making a full-time to a part-time.
Right.
Basically,
Right.
yes.
That would be E911 addressing would go from full-time to part-time.
And there are some, suggestions as to, make some kind of schedule to maybe Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, or Wednesdays and Fridays, where we could address those matters that come up on a case-by-case basis of 911, because it's not every day that you get a call on that matter. I've spoken to these people that have called lately. So it's not every day, but it still requires. And sometimes that idea of just getting by with just on the computer and not going out there and assessing visually, I don't like it, because there's a lot of things that are overlooked.
Yeah, the maps are very precise. The maps, I've seen them.
Sure. But still, there's
Yeah.
there's times where.
And when the cases are complicated, then that's the time that you do have to go out.
Yes.
You know, when you can't figure it out. But I've seen the maps, because when Sonia used to do it,
Mhm.
there was areas that I was familiar with, so I would go look and stuff, and when you turn on the program, it's gonna give you, an area where you can address.
Right.
It can fall anywhere in that area, and that computer actually, it actually tells you.
And since then, there's been a updates, and those are the ones that we need to go out and have whoever is gonna, you know, and then I would suggest all of us, I'm curious about going out and that training with the latest software that they made available. And this, supposedly it's a lot more accurate and updated. So that's,
Does it
That's
tell you
for
what they
email
use
one.
like Google Maps?
right,
No, Google
Well,
Maps is not a true map.
they use the same technology, but it's a little more
Yeah,
specific.
it's not, it's very different. But at some point where we couldn't find like a private road, because it's not registered with the appraisal district, I would actually go on Google Maps and then I would tell it, look, it's here, whatever, but, I mean, we would use the satellite. It's just a very interesting job for whoever takes it.
Oh, no, it
Yeah.
requires a lot of attention to detail.
And like I
And
said,
mostly,
there's
like you
three
said,
different programs that are going on at the same time, the appraisal district and map info and then something else.
It's a little convoluted, but, and not everybody's gonna understand it.
Yeah.
We sat down enough to understand the specifics and the details of it. And that's what's important here, to be efficient there with those duties. And, thank you, Sylvia, for all the recommendations. You've been here long enough to know more than anybody else, is to be an expert.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm hearing right, somebody's gonna be at the tech stop?
Oh, I don't know about all
No,
that.
right now.
I'm just saying my
we're
recommendation
in the
for
courthouse.
that position.
Well, I just
I don't
heard
know.
tech stop for somebody.
Well, I said that because it's a new facility we have out there for those that don't know. And the, area is spacious and there's enough room there for, potential, location, someone or somebody or for, who knows, once I speak to the sheriff and we negotiate that. But it is wide open and it's empty right now and it's a great facility, office building, the former tech stop building. And yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I wanted to go to and we're discussing line item number 6. That's where we
Oh, yes, sir.
we post, to advertise or whatever we need to do.
Did I answer your
Right
question?
now, we're in job descriptions. of
Yes.
Okay, well, that would be my recommendation for
Thank you.
E911 address.
We're addressing all 6 line items?
No, my other recommendation would be for safety officer.
Yeah, that's what I mean, we can go to line item number 6, we'll address both of them.
Okay. Do you want me to make my recommendation at this time?
I would.
Okay,
Yes.
I actually gave Cindy, job description, update on how I feel that it should be considered. So I think y'all have a copy of it, and that, I guess y'all. can
It's what we
review it.
discussed already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then just go over it and then we'll take it from there.
I don't have a copy of it.
And I didn't bring one,
No, they're in there
they're in
somewhere.
here? Okay,
You're gonna go over the safety officer.
let's go over the safety, yeah, since she is the person with the most knowledge there. You all right, Sylvia, there?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
On the safety officer, basically, the only thing I removed from his responsibilities were that I would administer all the safety orientations, since I am in the office the majority of the time. I feel that I would schedule those and I would actually do the safety orientations for all county employees. And then I would also, which hasn't been done in quite a while, is that I would actually keep the accurate records and, I would actually keep the records and, issue them out to whoever we decide to hire for safety officer to present to the commissioner's court, the way it used to be done in the past. And that hasn't been done in quite a while. Then the other thing I would, take from him is which I've been doing for over 5 years, is I manage all the DOT anti-drug program. There is gonna be changes to that program, but not always, for the last over 5 years, I've taken care of that.
In other words, Sylvia, you have to carry those large loads
Yeah.
without being addressed. And
Well, I'm going over the safety officers, what I'm
Compensated,
taking off,
also addressed and everything.
and, I think basically that would be it. Yeah, 'cause mine's not high.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
And then on my job description, I actually highlighted the responsibilities that I would be adding to myself. And then the judge, I hear you often say, that you want me to supervise, and I feel I have confidence in myself that I could supervise the people there and direct them on what it is they have to do. Like, you all know I have knowledge in E911. I don't know how to work the program, but I know what's expected of the constituents, what they need to provide, all the information they need to give us. Emergency management, I helped Juan and I guided him, and I still will, because I've been doing this for 13 years, emergency management. I mean, and I can guide him and tell him what needs to be done, like I feel the updates need to get done. And I mean, I'm willing to take that charge also.
And what I've observed so far, Sylvia, and Commissioners, from what we've observed down there and looked at carefully, Ms. Sylvia has been handling a lot of these duties and filling in where needed to fill in and addressing those areas without being ever compensated or addressed or looked at whatsoever. That's my suggestion here today, is to make at this time right now, we're not making a motion at this time, but as far as Sylvia
And my
goes,
recommendation for safety officer work is to keep a safety officer full-time, and it has to be an exempt, or it should be an exempt position, being that the safety officer would work in conjunction with emergency management. For those purposes, he would serve as exempt employee, even though he wouldn't have anybody working under him, or that person.
So there's some criteria there that we'll look
Right.
at. And
There's
we'll look at
criteria that
thoroughly.
need to be considered for exemption, and I
So
understand.
whomever's, consider he or she, whoever has those, that background and experience, to look at those, that criteria that meets at that time. It's always a work in progress, and they're always changing depending on the duties and what you're.
Right, and then also on the bottom of the safety officers, you'll see as the person's responsibility is to follow orders of commissioners court. If you all have any other project that they would need, like when we have done the road mileage, our safety officer was one that actually would go hands-on and measure roads. So that's an added responsibility at your all's request. That's something I can think of. If you all need him to go do
Anything that's within.
anything that's
recent
within the
and-
scope of safety officer, that is on there.
And we'll have, I guess, this is a great recommendation as far as, duties and responsibilities and the job criteria that is required, and it can always be amended as we go along,
Exactly.
yes. Commissioners?
You don't have any questions for me?
I accept the recommendations that Sylvia has given us, because, I mean, she's the one that works on it, has been there 13 years, and I feel like, I've always felt like 911 was a part-time job. I mean, when I would go in there and see, and that she would help Sylvia a little bit, so,
Well, Mr. Guerra, just a quick question, I don't mind. How do we specifically on agenda item number 4, if there's no other questions or any suggestions or recommendations, in order to, as she stated, the recommendations as presented, do we just read it out this way and to consolidate?
Well, I don't hear any consolidation. What I'm hearing is a modification of the safety officer, removing some duties from the officer that are gonna be, and I'm not sure, somebody, I think when I got it from you, it said safety secretary, so we're referring to Sylvia's position, right?
Yes.
And so some of these duties are gonna be transferred to her, correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, so the balance of the duties in the current safety officer's job description would go to whoever we're going to, post and review applicants for that
For
position.
the safety?
And then, so that's a modification of both of those jobs.
Correct.
You've got safety secretary that's being modified,
Right.
and you've got safety officer that's being modified. Some duties are being removed from that officer.
Right.
And then the 911 is gonna be changed from full-time to part-time.
And modified, because they're gonna take on some of the responsibilities.
What, which ones?
Which is.
Those are gonna be addressing
to
those
help
areas
those
with emergency management, correct? The emergency management,
In what way? What
It's
specifically?
updating some,
well, specifically,
The
we can get
tier-
specific, but I don't know if we're gonna have time to go and review all that, because Sylvia mentioned those specific areas that haven't been addressed, that with assist
Those
Mr.
That would be
Acuña.
two.
it would be assisting and updating emergency management outlines and verifying the emergency management steer programs.
Those two.
Okay, so I guess I don't have that.
It's
handout.
convoluted, and this is
I
why,
don't, I think I
Because
don't
I
have
didn't,
that
I
handout.
didn't, I did not, I didn't work on the E911 address because that's not part of
Of
the
her,
safety
right.
department.
under that.
That's its own department in itself.
Okay,
It's
so
just my recommendation.
we're gonna have to read all that into the record, so I think that's covered, that covers everything. The modifications, all three of them will then be modified,
Correct.
right? There's no consolidation going on.
And this is,
Now, the only other thing I heard something about supervision.
yeah, there was something there about supervision, but it's not addressed here to assign a supervisor.
Because you're the supervisor of all three of
Correct.
those.
I'm the supervisor, but
Right.
obviously, right here, we have a lot, it's confusing because it does fall under the commissioner's court, and I'm the supervisor.
Right,
And I have to address and oversee these,
so you're remaining the supervisor of all
I'm
three?
remaining the supervisor of those.
Okay, then the motion should just be and we'll have to enumerate those things and go one by one. The motion's gonna have to say, well, you can start with whichever one you wanna start with. The position,
The
and then say
911 address,
911 addressing
make it part-time.
will be, first of all, changed from full-time to part-time.
Correct.
And we'll have the additional duties of, I guess.
Updating emergency management outline and verifying the emergency management.
You have that written up, that's good.
Okay,
Well, you wanna go ahead and make the motion?
yeah.
Make a
And
motion,
you said something about 25 hours?
$25.
Hours.
25 hours, yeah,
Hours.
For part-time. That should be sufficient.
Okay.
For now. And of course, this thing is a work in progress as we go along, just like anything else. And if we have other suggestions down the line, we may look at.
The ones things become part-time, as long as they don't.
As long as they don't go
Yeah.
29.
They'll-
Yeah, as long as they don't go over
They can
29,
work up
which
to
is the federal.
29 hours.
Yeah, so you can be part-time, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
And we can work with that as this can't all be figured out right now, because we have to put it in play and see how it's gonna work out, and see who we get.
And are we designating an hourly rate, or is it, do you all have that already?
That can be
That-
adjusted as
that
we go along, I think.
Right, that is,
Within-
taken on with, depending on the person that's selected as far as their
Background,
qualifications.
experience.
So we'll address that when the applications are screened? Okay.
We have to do it that way
Yep.
because, and, Mr. Noe, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, you're talking about applications being screened. At that point, I'm talking again about the committee.
Yes.
That needs to
Do we have a
be set up
committee
at
yet?
that point. No, you said you wanted to wait, so I guess at that time we'll set it up. or
Yeah, that'll be good at that time.
When you get the applications in.
I think that part-time is up to 12,000 a year, so it amounts to.
By law maximum?
Well, that's what we have in our budget.
That's just in the budget.
Oh. But we're gonna have also some, and there's gonna be some significant cost savings, and we need to look at that, what those monies that were falling under that, so if we need to come back to the commissioner's court, but like I mentioned earlier, those cost savings, they can't just sit, we have to work with that and see where we're at with that. But the more important thing is to become more efficient and do our jobs, a lot more accurately and precise, and be more efficient. It's not about all the other stuff like that. And a lot of organizations get that idea in their heads, and this is what we're trying to do, is make some bold moves here and make some adjustments. And I guarantee you, we're gonna be successful, and we're gonna be doing some good things with this. So, we just need to work.
That's stated in form of a motion.
I'll
second that.
We still haven't clarified what duties you're taking from safety and giving to, Ms. Ramirez?
911?
No,
Okay, and then
Just-
Sylvia, well, we were doing E911.
okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to, make a motion per position
It's
or
probably,
do it all together?
it's probably easier. And the only reason we wanna put it, because we wanna have everything on the record, so they know what their orders are as far as posting.
Sure.
Okay, so let's do, 911 first.
Yeah, we need to put the descriptions in place, and
Right.
and then we'll.
So we're making the E911 addressing coordinator a part-time position,
Okay,
and they would be doing the duties of the E911 addressing, and include, to help with the update, assisting emergency management with, emergency management steer program, and updating the emergency management outline.
No second motion.
with outlines?
The emergency management outline.
Okay. Okay, so that's one, is there, you all
So I
gonna
make
vote?
a motion.
Yeah, they already mentioned it.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? More discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Yeah.
Sylvia. Hold on
Now,
one
do you
second.
wanna go to safety officer or Sylvia's? Cause safety officer, you'll be subtracting duties, and Sylvia's you'll be adding duties.
So we're gonna go over to,
To the secretary.
I'm gonna open it up, agenda item number 5, and then,
Well, no, we're still on 4.
okay, so, okay. Now, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
We
I'm
got
gonna
one.
make the motion
We've
that
got 3,
we,
go ahead.
There's another motion within this agenda item.
yes, we're gonna do each.
All right.
That the safety inspector secretary, she's going to, take over some of the safety officers'
Duties,
duties,
which are,
which include safety orientation to all county employees, process identification cards, and review safety questionnaire with new employees. Keep accurate accident logs to safety officers and present to commissioners court monthly. Issue proximity cards to qualified full-time employees. Keep record of proximity cards issued. Deactivate cards of inactive employees. Issue identification tags to visiting attorneys who wish to purchase cards. Keep updated records for cards and issue renewals. Keep accurate records of deposits. Prepare quarterly audit reports for county auditing department. And also she would be doing the, which she already does, the DOT anti-drug program
and I think that would cover all the subparts.
for that.
Yes.
Under that.
I make a motion.
Okay,
That's the motion and the second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. Now we move on to what?
The safety officer.
yeah, the safety officer then would be the current job description minus the things you just said are going to Sylvia.
So again, I make a motion that we accept the safety officer position
With the regular.
with,
Minus.
minus the duties that have been moved over to the secretary.
That's your motion, okay? Motion?
Second.
The second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Guerrero, for that. It's complicated, yeah, it's a lot of duties and a lot of, we're addressing, and just for the record, yeah, we had 2 vacancies that came up just like that in the last month, so there's a lot going on, and Sylvia's been wonderful and great, and we've been on it, and we've learned a lot. We're gonna go out and do a field something, right, go out there in a little while, to go look at some of these inspections.
So then, are we gonna discuss?
Okay, now, number 5, really the only one you can discuss following until, right now is Sylvia's,
So,
because she's taking on additional duties. The other 2, you'll probably want to take up at the time you hire the new safety officer and the new.
To consider all the the credentials, their experience, and all the other criteria.
Is that okay?
We don't wanna, because we don't wanna box ourselves out and not have anybody come in.
And if you want to defer Sylvia's until that time too, you can do, that's another option.
I think,
Just do it all at once.
do we need to discuss her salaries in executive session?
yeah, probably,
Or-
well,
or
not necessarily,
Oh,
but I think, let me ask, and I have to ask Sylvia, because Sylvia, are you okay with a couple more to hold off till we get everything situated? And you still okay with doing the duties you're doing right now at your current rate where we're at? Knowing that we're gonna address that matter at the time.
I think we need to address her.
Okay.
Well, because depending on who you hire, you know, you may have more money to work with than, we really don't know at this point, how much you're gonna have to work with. Because
Okay.
depending on who you hire, that person's salary may be higher or lower than the person that just left.
Right.
And you may have more money to work with to reallocate.
That's a good point. So, any recommendations, guys? I think I
Because right now, I believe so is making 39, how much is making?
29, she's going to 31.
She's going 31 with the raise?
With,
That's the cost of living, I think.
The cost of living.
in January,
Whatever we did already.
Okay.
But we were gonna adjust that and, you know, Ms. Sylvia, I think we had discussed, or I don't know if we discussed that, addressed that.
She's gonna go to 32,364 with 3%, right?
She'll be going to 31,421.
31.
She's gonna be at 31,421?
In 2020.
so 31 needs to be adjusted, that's what I'm.
Right.
So we can make a recommendation?
No, I'm sorry, that's what's in this year's budget.
She's gonna go to
With that
32,364.
That's with the 3%.
Right, but right now she's making
At 3%,
Right,
it's
thirty-one.
The question you all will have is how much more to raise her above that number?
Okay, she's at
Because of the
31,
additional duties.
right, she's at 31,421, she's gonna go to 32,364 with a 3%.
No, she's at 29 now, going to 31.
But we would make that change now, because she is taking those duties on now.
Yeah,
There's gonna have to be we're gonna have to amend the budget at some point, because, you know, because the assistant secretary has a cap of 41, so, the safety officer can be, you know, can be hired for 39, and, you know, we might have some monies left, like Michael was saying, but, we have to be careful, otherwise we're gonna have to amend the budget.
Did that 39
I don't see
include,
any extra monies like you're talking about.
did that 39 include the floodplain?
No.
Yeah, 39 is the safety,
That was the
but
safety
it goes
officer
to
salary.
41,
39,900.
and, so we might have a little bit of room there, might have $2,000 or $3,000.
Yes. Do you have something, Sylvia, to say?
There's a line item in our budget
Mhm.
that also would be available without, when y'all discuss the salary for the safety officer. Okay, we're considering bringing down the safety officer. 39 to me sounds perfect. You bring down that 39, you're gonna have a few thousand there. But there's a line item in our budget under part-time,
Part-time.
Part-time
Right.
secretary.
that if the salary adjustment for me can come from there and not affect the monies that are allocated for safety officer.
That's what you pointed out, yes, correct.
So if you wanna adjust, Sylvia's, salary, we could do it now, and then through the process, we can, adjust it through, the new hires.
I don't know that.
You could take it, there's 12,000 allocated for part-time secretary,
Right.
so you can take it out of there. And then it doesn't matter what you do, you know, when you hire your safety officer, you can set the salary wherever, and you won't be affecting, actually, you could throw whatever savings you get on the safety officer, you could put it back into the secretary part-time.
Correct.
You know,
I suggest that we increase the Sylvia's salary $5,000.
how much?
Already, she's already been doing a lot of this
Right.
work without being compensated. We gave, claims management, what, $10,000 or $12,000?
more than that, I think it was
17?
12.
Well,
Well, I'm with that, I mean,
and they
I know
never did anything.
there shouldn't be any,
And she's picked up a lot of the slack from everything that's been going on without being compensated for it. So I believe that at this time, we should at least compensate her with $5,000.
I think her salary should go to 36. That's pretty much where.
I mean, it's a busy
or
office, you know, and she's the one that's held down the fort.
Or 35 and 36, so, you know, wherever.
So you're saying,
And take
At
that
this point?
yeah, but take the 5,000 out of secretary part-time.
Right, because
That would still leave
911,
7,000.
we're gonna have a lot of,
No,
Maybe
36,
for
it would be
911.
36, just 5 plus the 31.
but that's me, because your salary is.
Right, well,
So we're
it
talking
won't
about
be 36 till January 1st. until then.
Well, actually,
I was saying.
Do we have to wait till January, to the next
No.
calendar?
Well, because right now you're adding you're adding 5,000 to the 29.9 that she makes right now.
Right,
So
Well, I
for the
don't
next
know.
2
I
months,
don't know.
it'll be 34,
right.
and then January 1st, it'll go to 36.
I don't know if that would be fair to Cecilia, since she earned a 3% increase. She's been doing those duties, so I think we need to go off of that, new figure, the 31, that she was gonna enjoy in January.
So,
5,000 to that. 5,000 to the 31.
We can give her the 5,000 now,
Yeah.
and in January, she'll get 3%.
Yeah, oh, and on top of that, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
I
she's
didn't
gonna-
want to cut it out.
yeah, it'll get a 36 at the end.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah, but it won't happen for 2 more months. She'll
Right.
get the 5 right now.
Right.
Nobody will get it till for 2 more months.
Right, otherwise what you're doing is giving her the 3% 2 months early.
I got you.
No, she'll get 5 now,
My
and
numbers
in
are all-
January, she'll
She'll
get
get the
3%.
3%,
like everybody else.
Right.
So.
So I make a motion.
So,
You second
she's
the
gonna get the
motion?
30, she's gonna get the 3% on the 35, not the 31?
Correct. That's what they're,
She's gonna get, she makes 31,
now right now, she's at
29.
29, so she's gonna make
29.25.
34.
So if you're suggesting a 5, that comes down to 34,925.
Until January 1st.
And then
And
y'all
the
are saying
3% will be
at
added to that.
January, then y'all are suggesting the 3% to 34,925, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
That-
So for the,
Well, then you have to recalculate the 10%.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I see what you're
okay,
saying.
okay.
That's why I
But
need to
we're not
get
gonna
it cleared
change
on
the
what
budget.
they're.
Right.
We've had a major savings.
Right.
Keep us in line,
3% of-
Sylvia.
Yeah,
I'm trying to, all these numbers thrown around, and I just wanna make sure Sylvia's
so
addressed,
your
that's all I
motion
care
is
about.
5,000
These numbers,
plus 3% that they.
Well, 5,000 right now, you
But
put,
if-
and then she's gonna get the 3% that all the employees.
If we say, because she's getting a raise right now,
Well, yes.
so your motion needs to be 5,000 plus 3% January 1st, is that, that's what
Yes,
you're saying?
that's my motion.
Of her total salary.
I'll second the motion.
Is that okay?
Yeah, just want to clarify that
Just
you're,
verify.
So I'm making a motion that we compensate Sylvia as of tomorrow,
right,
$5,000 to her salary for
Right.
all the duties that she has taken up and has been doing all this time. And then in January, that she gets the 3% that all the employees get.
right. But you understand, by adding the 5,000 now, that 3% is gonna be more than what's
Right.
projected, because it'll be 3% of 29.9 plus 5.
Right, that's
Okay.
34.
Okay, so that's what you're instructing me. I just wanna make sure. Okay,
Thank you.
so,
And this will be starting on Monday.
Just to be clear, yeah, and Monday would be the beginning of a pay period, so that's perfect.
Okay.
So,
All right.
if you're on.
We have a motion on the floor,
Second.
and a second, a little more discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for their help. Suggestions, everything. So now we're moving on to 6, correct? Consider and take action to authorize posting and advertising for applicants for positions of JWC County Safety Officer and/or Emergency 911 Addressing Coordinator, either as currently set or as modified and/or consolidated under agenda item number 4.
and so we've already put on the record what all the modifications are, just take the motion to authorize the,
I make a motion to authorize.
And I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, everyone.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a
We're
motion.
advertising for both part-time and full-time,
one part-time and one full-time.
okay, so you're covering both, right?
Yes,
Right? Yes,
Yes.
okay, correct.
I'll get it to you,
Yes.
Linda, and then, that way Robert can put it over.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn. Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This motion, or this meeting is adjourned.
Would you